Hello everyone, happy Monday, happy Memorial Day to those of you in the United States, especially if you're a veteran. If you're a veteran, then I thank you for your service to our country. I'm so proud to be an American. Anyways, so jumping right into our topic today, it's a really important one. And, I'm talking about, are you pushing men and love away? And you might be thinking, well, no, I don't. If you're a woman and you have, experienced times where you felt triggered and maybe you've gotten defensive, or you felt triggered and then you started chasing a man, or you actually went into a mode of investing more in the relationship before he actually claimed you. I'm going to talk a little bit deeper about this in a minute. If you've ever done any of those things, write in the comment box. I've done this. I feel like I've pushed love away. And if you feel like you pushed love away, I'd love to hear that. Just say, yes, I've pushed love away in the past. So I'm going to talk about some ways that women do this unconsciously, and sometimes it's conscious. However, most of the time we don't want to sabotage love. It does happen, and it happens in ways that are kind of sneaky. So oftentimes, I work with women all the time that are dating men and things seem to be going along great for a while, and then maybe he's slowly pulling away, which might cause alarm bells to go off in your head, some frustration, and might inadvertently cause you to do the very thing that pushes him away. Maybe you act out in anger. Maybe you even say to him, emasculate somehow is the best word I'm thinking of. Maybe you start getting what a lot of women would call needy, and saying, gosh, we used to be together all the time, and then all of a sudden you're busy most of the week, and really what's going on, or you're late, or or we were supposed to have a weekend getaway and it's right before we're supposed to go, and then there seems to be excuses. Maybe you get really frustrated and project your negative feelings. Those negative feelings could be from past hurts. Now, not to say that those aren't justified feelings at times. It's, inadvertently how we choose to handle them and really what's showing up. Okay. So the next thing that I'm going to talk about when it comes to pushing love away, the number one thing is fear. So we're going to talk about, a lot of it is actually centered around fear, but the fear of connecting with your worth. So what I was just speaking about, when there's a projection, there's anger. This is a really good question. How do we be open and vulnerable and not clingy? I'm going to get to that in a minute. Okay. So your fear of your worthiness, your value, right? So a lot of times women, you might be able to get into a relationship, you might be able to date someone, and yet it doesn't move much further into an in-depth connection. There may not be a whole lot of progression. It could be like 50 first dates. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced that. So there's a worthiness fear, and it can manifest itself in your life as needing to show up as perfect all the time. I was just looking at myself in this camera going, gosh, my hair. And I really don't care at the end of the day, because my message is much more important than my hair, right? But what we can go into is, if he really knows me, or he knows any of my skeletons in my closet, he's not going to love me, or he's not going to really like me, which are fears and insecurities can override our authentic self, override our ability to truly be us and be fully open. Let me know if you've experienced that. So that is huge. And that can show up in self-sabotaging ways. You could see him talking to another woman and feel really uncomfortable, yet not be able to express that. And then he feels the disconnect, right? He feels you getting anxious maybe, or he doesn't call for a couple of days, and then it makes you feel strange. Whereas the thing about that is you get to look at somebody's life. He has a life just like you have a life. And if you don't have a lot going on besides him, I suggest you find things to do. You get hobbies, you get passionate about some other things in your life. Okay, so that is the number one. The second thing that I want to share with you is you've invested in him. You've actually chosen him before he actually chose you. So let me explain that. Just quick story for you. So maybe you are, maybe you're out there, you're dating along, and then you meet someone and he seems really great and you have chemistry with them, and everything seems to be really amazing about this guy. You feel this connection, you're on a similar path. He seems to share your values. You don't know him very well, so there's that. You're in this space of, okay, this could be it, right? But he hasn't chosen you yet. So you're investing more in the relationship than he is. And you might just be investing in with your heart. So that means that maybe you've stopped getting to know other people before he said, hey, I'd really like to be exclusive with you. I'd like to see where this goes. And going exclusive too quickly is a really big mistake, because I mean, in some circumstances it works, but it's more the exception to the rule. It's a really big mistake because he hasn't fully decided. He might be going, gosh, she seems great. And if he wants to get exclusive with you too quickly, typically there's a couple of other things going on. He just wants to take you off the market because you're the best option for him. I hate to say that, but it could be true. Or he's keeping you as an option, right? So I don't want to dive too deeply into that, but he hasn't claimed you yet. He hasn't done the work. See, remember, men are hunters by nature. They need to feel like, wow, this girl's amazing. This woman, she's got it going on. And he might feel that about you, but he wants to feel like he did some work to earn your heart. He might even have met you and gone, gosh, she's great, and she's got, all these great things about her. But if it comes too easy for them, just like anything else in life, just like for us, if something comes way too easy, half the time we take it for granted or we just don't appreciate it. Have you been there? So remembering that, you get to build tension. That means he does more work in the relationship to earn your heart. And so I hope that all makes sense. I mean, there's checkpoints along the way. There's checkpoints to see, are we on the same page? What's happening? And some of that you can tell as things go along. They'll express things to you. And at that point in time, you don't hide the fact that, hey, I'm getting to know other people, until the right man takes me off the market. And a lot of times as women, we feel uncomfortable with that when we've started dating someone that we really like and seems to be spending some time with us. So that's the next one. The one after that, I'm gonna go, oh gosh, I've got so many. I'll do 4. So the one after that is you're not using your intuition. So, and this is a really important one. I know it's talked about a lot, you know, women's intuition. Women, yes, we do have intuition, but there's something even deeper around this. A lot of times when we have chemistry and our hormones are flying, it's easier to ignore red flags, and red flags that can be blatant. You can learn a lot about a guy on the first 1 to 3 dates. You can absolutely learn a lot about him. What you can learn is, you know, who he's been in the past, and getting curious, you know, asking him questions. What, you know, how do you see your life? Why didn't that work out for you? And not in a way of you're giving him 1,000 questions, right? But men will really share a lot, especially if they feel safe and you give them the space to share. But if you're ignoring red flags, you know, it could be anything that you hear that you're like, ooh, that doesn't feel right. So our body feels things. We just feel the, I don't know if this is right. We can oftentimes ignore that because of what we want. You know, our heart wants what our heart wants. You know, there's so many great things about him, and gosh, it'd be so nice not to have to worry about this anymore. And we ignore red flags, and inevitably what ends up happening is what the worst fear of, you know, somehow it blows up. The other thing about ignoring your intuition, ladies, because we are so strong in our intuition, is, and I feel it really strongly, especially when I meditate daily, and I meditate multiple times a day. It's almost hard for me not to have intuition. I even have intuition about my clients. I'll literally reach out to them and go, what's going on? Everything okay? Or, you know, I can usually just feel things. I am, just so you know, I'm not a tarot card reader or anything like that, but I am intuitive. So moving on from that piece, you know, if we stuff our intuition, if we stuff that feeling, that nagging feeling that something might not be right, what ends up happening is we stuff it down so deep that we stop trusting ourselves in the next relationship, and that intuition becomes so far away from us that we're not even in tune. So our spidey senses, so to speak, isn't even, you know, honed in where it should be, because we're constantly questioning ourselves and we're not actually feeling into our body and how we feel. So that is a really, really big one. So, and ladies, you guys deserve just really amazing partnership. I mean, men do too. And I think that's the thing that can end up happening, is we can push real love away by settling for something that's not right for us. Or what's even worse, we teach people how to treat us. So if you're settling for less, for breadcrumbs and in the treatment that you're getting, and you're like, oh my gosh, he bought me flowers today for the first time in a year or something, it's like, you know, and you're living off of that feeling, or it's just breadcrumbs. There's little tiny bits, and people sense when they don't have to do that much work because you're doing more of the work. And that's a really common theme that I see that women do, and that puts you in your masculine energy. If the guy's not going to pursue you, he's not going to pursue you, and he may not be built that way. God bless him, wish him love. That wouldn't be for me. So this is the big one, and this is your answer, Anne. So not being willing to actually be vulnerable and pay the price. So meaning that you're not willing to put your whole heart out there, maybe because you've been hurt before, maybe because you're afraid of getting hurt, or it's a subconscious wall that's up because there's there's fear of judgment, there's fear of loss, there's fear of if I'm vulnerable, I'm clingy. And vulnerability is the exact opposite of clinginess. Clingy and neediness is where you're just pursuing him. Like, hey, what's up? Here I am again. And while, or you're trying to control the outcome of a situation. Well, you said this. I thought we were doing this now. And have you ever had a guy that's come on really strong or wanted to get answers from you? And you were like, well, it's the same way when it comes to clinginess. So I hope that makes sense. So how do you be vulnerable is start sharing about the feelings that are coming up for you. So as you're getting closer to him, and let's just say you've gone into, you measure your vulnerability as opposed to where things are headed. Now, I'm not telling you to not take risks, because I think risks are awesome to take. You want to start to use that intuition though, and trust yourself. If he's expressed that, gosh, I really am enjoying our time, I'm really liking you, I don't want to see anyone else, I want to explore that, I do too. And you let him know that, gosh, this makes me really happy. Or if he does something to upset you, you say, you know what you shared, I just need to let you know, what I heard you share is this, and I don't know if you meant it that way. It hurt me. So what I was experiencing is this, and I want to share these things with you because I want to be closer to you. You guys, overcoming conflict, it brings you closer in relationship. And if you know how to do it calmly and moving through your emotional triggers, understanding what triggers you, understanding how to communicate effectively with men so that you're not sharing like 10 things at once that you might feel are, not working well for you, or you took it this particular way when he didn't even mean it that way. It's for me as a woman, and not every woman is this way, I'm a processor. So what tends to happen for me is somebody may share something, I might get a little triggered about it, and I might go, oh, that's what really got to me, and you've shared that with me more than once. Whereas maybe there's something about me or this situation that you're not aware of, right? So if somebody's projecting something onto you, maybe there's something about me or the situation that you're not aware of, that maybe you can't see the whole thing. Why is it that you would say that to me? See, instead of getting offended or triggered or snapping back if somebody's snapping at us, because that can be really difficult too, seeking to understand, not apologizing. So you don't need to own somebody else's part, you can own yours. I think a lot of times women become afraid to be vulnerable because they're, one, they've been hurt before, but secondly, we don't fully understand what vulnerability is. And, vulnerability is the willingness to go there and share something that scares you to share with him. To, peel back the layers of any shame that you've had in your life. And we've all had it. I guarantee you he's had it too. And not putting him on a pedestal for that. Does that help you? Hey, Roberta. And, you know, Anne, I hope that really helps you. I hope this helps you guys today. It's, you know, this is a really big deal, and I'm going to go deeper into that communication, vulnerability. Would you like to hear more about that? And I just want to say something in review. I think many times we can invest more than he's invested in the beginning. Even if he's claimed you, he still gets to work for it. You know, maybe you're not playing hard to get, because a man wants a receptive woman. He really does. But sorry, my 5-year-old is upstairs playing and I keep hearing him screaming. He must be having a good time. So anyways, so how in the heck, you know, when it comes to him, this is what I was going to say, and then I'm going to close with this. You know, it's not about being hard to get. I think there's a lot of misconception around that. It's about being receptive. You're going to be receptive. You're going to be open. And the very last thing is that you're not necessarily going to be easy to keep. And I don't mean that in a high maintenance sort of manner. I mean it from, you know, a perspective of standards. And, you know, I think a lot of times we put protection around us, or then we start to act in ways that, oh, a love coach said this. I mean, if you're in a place where you're feeling challenged, you're feeling confused, or you get to a certain point in your dating and it's not moving forward, I recommend hiring a coach. I recommend somebody, you know, getting with somebody to help you navigate through this, you know, whether it's me or someone else. You know, I know that we have a link button on my page. You can definitely sign up for a call. I do have some openings over the next couple of days. So again, I'm sending you guys so much love. Have an amazing rest of your day. And I'm so grateful that I got to be here with you guys, share this, and I will see you tomorrow. Yay! Bye.